Alimbara, Alimbara. We're gonna start momentarily in a minute, so stick around, everybody. Assalamu alaikum, Gano.
Alaikum salam, brother. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Good, alhamdulillah.
Well, we're live right now, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world that you follow us from or watch us from. My name is Ibrahim. I am the host of the Dialectic Space podcast that comes your way every weekend. And today, as promised, I have one of the most prominent young Gambians, young businessmen from Gambia, and storyteller and YouTuber to talk to. And I'm really excited about what he does and what he has to share with us this morning from Seattle and also wherever he is, because I'm not sure, because Gano is moving around a lot. If you know him, if you follow his social media, if you follow what he does, he is always on the go. But I'm not going to get into that. Hopefully, he would really, expand on some of the things that he's involved in and where he is at the moment. But Gano, welcome to the Dialectic Space podcast.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your availability as well. And we'll just get right into it because obviously it's the weekend. Everybody has something going on. So I'm not going to try to keep you longer than necessary. But first off, I would like us to get into really who Gano is. Where is Gano from? Where were you raised? Talk to us about your upbringing. What are some of the values or principles, for example, that your parents or any person of influence instilled in you? Just really, what really influenced you to become who you are today?
Well, brother, like I said, thank you for having me. My name is Ibrahim Gano. I was actually born in Sukuta. I was born in the Sukuta Loptano.
Okay, wait, bro, that's crazy. I'm from Brigama, bro. So
yeah, I was born in Sukuta.
So basically, I'm allowed to take shots at you then, because Brigama and Sukuta have this joking relationship.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, please proceed. Sorry.
Yeah, so I was born in Sukuta, like raised in, Sanchaba and Sukuta are almost the same, right? So Sanchaba, and I grew up in a family compound with like extended families, the uncles, the aunties, the cousins, everyone, Korra, like the family compound. So that's pretty much the setting I grew up in, So when you're doing something that you're not supposed to, it's not only your father or your mother that will be there to handle you. It's the whole, your aunties and uncles. Everyone is involved, right? So pretty much that's the type of setting. That's the type of family that I grew up in, and growing up with all your cousins. Obviously, I'm the first child. And also I'm the first grandchild as well. So,
Oh, wow.
talk about pressure, talk about pressure, being the first child, the first grandchild. So all the cousins, everyone is looking up to me, you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, pretty much that's the step, that's the setting, that's the family I grew up in. And then obviously my education, all of it is my first. I went to boarding school, Quranic school that my parents sent me there when I was like 5, you
Oh,
know.
wow.
Yeah, so I was in boarding school when I was like 5, 6. So yeah, pretty much that's it. Quran until I was like 10, 11. I left boarding school and then also joined another Islamic school as well. So my whole education really has been Islam and Quran. That's the same things that actually my parents tried to raise me and all of my siblings actually, to follow the
Wow.
Quran and Sunnah pretty much,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, and but then before while I was doing high like Islamic school and all, I was fortunate enough. My father got me like an IT teacher. I had like someone that was teaching me computer at home, you know. So that was like really fortunate. I had that access. So even before graduating high school, I already know how to, you know, do how to operate Microsoft, everything about
Wow.
computers. I even did IT courses up to like advanced level. So I just know how to even fix computers and stuff. That this was even before graduating high school.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. And then after my high school, I tried to do a few things. My dad actually tried to get me to enroll at MDI or something, just try to do some management courses and whatnot. But for me, that was really not my. At some point, I ended up dropping out, and then that was it. That was really it.
And was that at any point while you were going through the entire Arabic school process, were you also concurrently going to English school, for example?
No, I did not go to English school. I get that question a lot. People ask me, so, but how are you able to speak such English, right? Because if you went to Arabic school in Gambia, you don't speak Arabic there. You don't speak English. There's no way, right? But then for me, I think it's because my siblings, they were like my sisters, they were going to English school, and then my father, mostly we speak in English, me and my dad, right? So, and also because my siblings, they had like study teachers and things, I would join them, right? So when they have study teachers at home, even though I was doing Islamic Arabic, I would join them at home and stuff. So I think that is where I got my. But also because I start the foundation is Quran. If you start anything off the Quran, nothing in this life really bothers you. Anything you can just absorb because your mind is like when you start off with the Quran, it creates this like your mind. It makes like a sponge. You can just absorb anything quickly. So yeah, I think that's what helped me.
And bro, it's crazy you're saying that because some of the colleagues that I was in same class with, because I went to English school, I went to Dara obviously, but I didn't go to like formal conventional Arabic school. When I went to Dara, I didn't go too far in the Quran, but as I grew up, obviously I get to learn and study by myself. But the point I'm trying to make is most of these folks you went to school, I went to school with, bro. There is no way that you could beat any of these people in exams. It was insane. And just their ability to retain information, to retain, Gambian teaching, our education system is very regurgitative based. You just memorize it and just,
Memorize
you put
everything.
everything. Yes. So there was
So
no
when
way.
it comes to memorization, no one can beat us, because we memorize like yeah, that's what we do. We just memorize.
Bro, so I'm honestly not surprised that you're able because, bro, you speak better English than me. You speak better English than a lot of other. I'm telling you. And I went to school for 12 years. I'm still going to school. I'm still learning English language. So I think you having this ability is absolutely incredible.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
yeah, for sure. Well, so also talk to us about you from advice to your dad, you went to MDI still in, but at what point do
Mhm.
business actually mob into you? Was basically a thing that you really wanted to get into.
So business for me, really, like I said, that was even before graduating high school, and that is why I was not even mainly when I was going to school. I was really just going to school just to graduate. I was not really. Now I regret that, because the time that I was going to school, I was really not focused on actually loving the like learning, enjoying it. I was just doing just to pass exams and just get out of school because I was so focused on making money, and that is because of my dad. Actually, he put so much pressure on me because whenever whatever, it's like, Baba, can you get me this? Can you buy me this? I want this. He's like, my friend, go and get it for yourself. So that's pretty much how he was. Like, I remember there was even a time he was coming from China, and I was like, Baba, I need you to get me a camera when you're coming. Help me. Da, 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 da. And then my father came. Guess what he got me? He got me a barbing machine. He said, now go and learn how to barb. Make your own money. Once you do, you can go buy anything that you want for yourself, right? So pretty much that is how he raised me. Like, he would never get me anything. Whatever I asked him, he said, if you are waiting for me to get you this, then you'll never get this, right? So yeah, not even a phone, nothing. Like, there's absolutely nothing. Like, anything that I want, I get it for myself, right? So for me, that pressure, like, you want to get things for yourself, I could not even focus on my schooling. So I was really just out there, just trying to. So I was doing graphic design for people, fixing phones. I was even at the black market at some point, selling phones there. You know, yeah, I was selling T-shirts, I was selling perfumes. I was just doing anything to make money, right? Yeah, and even during school, sometimes I would just go to the barbing salon as well. I did that for like for some time, doing barbing, right? All that just to make money. So that business thing really came out of that thing where I have to make money for myself, right?
Mhm.
And obviously it grew as I was just doing different things, graphic design, video editing and stuff, playing with the computers. I found this passion, this thing of creating, just making stuff, right? I see myself, I'll just be at home the whole night, just spending on just one edit, just trying to make one clip, just trying to piece that out and do it. And I even remember growing up in Sanchaba, there was times where I would call all the boys in the Konya, I'll say, boy, can you differ? So let us make some drama films or something, and then they'll make fun of me. They're like, boy, you're not tough. And that was something that really, if we have pushed it through, maybe by now we would have been like the biggest something in Gambia, right?
Yeah.
But again, Gambia is this place where, especially growing up in those places, when you come up with ideas like that, people tell you, boy, like you say, "Anyal after mal, try it," so that they crush your dreams before you even start,
Start, yes.
Yeah, so for me, it was always like that. Whenever I come up with something, okay, boys, then definitely let's do this. They were always like, boy, did you do? Then I didn't. So I was always doing things alone in my room. I was just making stuff, doing stuff, right? So yeah, and then for business, like I said, I was just trying to do anything to make money.
Yeah.
That was pretty much my drive. I was not passionate about anything. I was just wanted to make money. That was the bottom line for me, right? Yeah, and then pretty much that's how I just got in there, just doing different things. And then the first business that I actually started, I was like, I would call a business. An actual business was like this print, like we make pictures, frames, and things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I started in our, like, one of our stores in our house, and I remember actually, because I was working for my dad. My father has like a security company. He's actually the only person that I've ever worked for in my life, right? So when he started this company in 2018, I was working for him. I even went to the police training school. I did security trainings because when he started, there was not a lot of people. So I was actually part of the first batch. I actually did security work as well in some places here. Yeah, but that was after a while. I was just in the office doing a lot of work, and then sometimes my father would delay my salary. He would not even pay me. He say, my friend, this is your thing. Why are you? So after I left, eventually when I collected enough salary, I
Yeah.
just said, yo, I'm leaving all your this work here.
Yeah.
I'm going out of my way, right? So from that salary that I was using for my father, I actually started this printing thing. And then funny thing is that is when I really was like, whoa, this business thing is my way. Because what my father was paying me when I started this business, I was making like 6 times more. I'm in my first month, I made 6 times more than what they would pay me in the whole month. I was like, nah, I'm never, ever doing this employment monthly thing. I'm never doing that, right? So that's how I just started that, and then it was just doing very well. I was just doing, and it was very small, and like the setup, and it cost me like 5,000 to start this thing, right? And at the end of the month, I would make like 30K. I was like, whoa, 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 this is
Yeah.
something, huh? And
Yeah.
I was very young as well. So I was making that money, and then I did not need all of that money. So I was like, yeah, I'll just dash my mom, dash my siblings,
Yeah.
and how I was
Yeah.
just doing things, right? And then out of that also, the YouTube came. I was also doing video production because I had the skill. I did not go to school to learn these things. I was doing video production for businesses, for companies here. You know, So I was doing that prints. I was making a lot of money pretty much.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
that age, I was making a lot of money. Life was good. So the
Before,
YouTube. Hmm?
I was gonna say, no, before we even get to the YouTube, I was just gonna because you talked about something very important, which is important to highlight, which is I think your dad has a lot of influence on you. Your Baba, it seems like you talk about him a lot, and he really molded and instilled a lot of values in you that made you to become who you are today. Now, where you are in your life, what is your relationship with him like, if you don't mind sharing? But also, how to what extent is he involved? Because I'm pretty sure if he is alive, I pray he is. If he goes out, people are, oh, this is Gano's dad, or sometimes people that know him, because you're pretty prominent, not only in Gambia but also around the African continent because of what you do. But talk to us about what is your relationship like with him, and how important is he to your life?
I mean, right now I would say my pops is actually my hero, huh? Yeah, because, but then I actually now I'm saying this, but before, like that time that I was telling you, like I hated my dad more than anyone in this world. Like I hated him so much, and because he was put so much pressure. All my stress at that time was all because of my dad, really, you know. So he put so much pressure, so much stress on me. But now that I'm here, I'm like, yo, actually, I'm glad that I went through all this and he did this, right? Because it has actually helped me a lot. So now we are really cool, right? We are very tight, we are like boys, me and my father. We have this relationship where we can talk about anything. Just like me and my boys, we can just at the campaign we talk about girls, we talk about this. Me and my dad, we have that relationship, right? So we are very cool, and yeah. But then it was not always like that, It was
Yeah,
not always like that because he was very tough on me, and but I believe that is also what molded that what made me who I
yeah,
am today. Yeah.
yeah. Does he watches your videos now?
Yeah, he does. He does. Even though he pretends that he doesn't. He was like, no, I don't say. And then sometimes even because one time my mother was telling me that they were out, and then someone else said, "Oh, you are Gano's father. Are you related to Gano?" He said, "No, I don't know him. We just have the same last name, Gano, but we are not related. I don't know him." So yeah, he's just trying to be this hard guy or whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah, he does watches my videos. He does, but yeah, he pretends that he doesn't know that he doesn't watch it down.
yeah.
You know.
Well, that's wonderful, man. I love. I My dad is not alive. He passed away since
Okay, sorry.
2015. But I've always been really tired with him too. But like your story too, my dad has always been hard on me. But I always say, that hardness is out of love for most of our parents. They literally just want us to be successful. And most of what I do now, I look back, I'm like, yeah, I'm thankful for those experiences, even though they were hard. But I'm really thankful for it. But when was it that you really took off? Because obviously, you start from like the little stuff, you try to figure out your niche, and then eventually Gano became Gano. You know what I'm saying? Like this name, this brand, not only in Gambia but in African continent, start to resonate with people both virtually and also in person. When will be the moment, even before we get into your travels, what is that particular moment that you're like, yeah, I've taken off?
Yeah, so for me, really, for me, still, I've not taken off the. For me, I mean, I've not taken off yet. Really, I've not
I
taken
mean,
off.
I
But
think what could fairly say you have, Gano. It's good to be humble, but I think you absolutely have. Dude, you're one of the most prominent young people in that African continent. What do you do? The stories you put out, I don't think, even if the economic incentives is not as huge as you probably would want them, I think it's still pretty significant. So objectively, I would say from somebody, from an outsider who is looking at what you're doing, I think you're pretty big.
thank you, thanks. Well, for me, really, I mean, I would say maybe when I went like the first time, like that would be when I went to Nigeria. Yeah, my videos about Nigeria really that was because again because maybe Gambia is too small. Our numbers are not that many. So whenever you try to do a lot of the people don't see it or whatever, or maybe even the people that cheer you, they're not that much. But when I went to Nigeria, and then boom, this and some people now they say you are Nigerian, no matter what you are Nigerian, like they're claiming me in that way.
Yeah,
So for me, that actually I felt like wow, coming from Gambia, that small 2.5 million people. I'm here in Nigeria. I made these things, and these people are like celebrating me, man. You know. So for me, that was like really that point. I was like, wow, maybe I'm doing something here.
yeah,
Yeah, but also even before that, there was like times where I would meet people in the streets. They'll tell me, "Bro, I'm back." I met people like they're like African Americans. They're like, "I came back to Gambia because of I came back. I invested in the continent because of you, right?" because I watched you did a video about this businessman, how he started, how the now that inspired me to also start this thing. I'm doing this business now. I remember someone even sent me a message that, oh, I've started this fish farming thing in Gambia because of you. So many people started businesses in Gambia here and invested in Africa because of my videos. I'm like, wow. So I'm actually contributing to this continent in a way. So for me, when I hear those messages, I'm like, wow, okay, maybe like you said, yeah, I'm actually, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
No, it is. It absolutely is, and I can tell you that for sure from somebody who lives in United States as well, where there's a huge African American community. There's a growing, there's a growing interest from a lot of African Americans, which you probably know, especially in Ghana, that want to
Mhm.
reconnect with their roots back home. And
Mhm.
so the primary source where they find a lot of that information is YouTube. And so
Mhm.
people are interacting with your content. And sometimes I have somebody who will send me what you do. I said, yeah, I know. We actually have the same name. He's Gambian, and they're like,
Mhm.
well, he's Gambian. I said, yeah, he's absolutely Gambian. It's not like he's from
Mhm.
Nigeria or Ghana. No, this is a Gambian dude who wants to tell African stories through his videos and voice. And they're like,
Mhm.
yeah. So it interests them to want to go further, to not only go to those traditional, like African American destinations that they like to go to, but even spur meaningful, economic and tourism growth in the Gambia. And that brings me to the question I want to ask you in relation to Gambia government and tourism. And for a fact that tourism is not, well, it's meant to be big. It's supposed to play a significant role in helping spur our economic growth, but it's not, right? And because there is not really serious ideas or policies or programs to get tourists to come to our country. And in respect to what you do, to what extent are you involved with the government, or what sort of support do you get from them, or even say, for example, business ideas of them for you to create content or to put some content out there that would attract outsiders to want to visit the Gambia?
Yeah, I would say when it comes to the government, really, I've really not. Never, there's only just very recently, I've been in contact a little bit, actually through someone who said, "Oh, there's someone in the Ministry of Tourism. They want to connect with you to do this." And then they said, "Okay, they're going to reach out," but they never did, right? But for me, I don't wait for anything. Me, I just do, right? If I see something that I can do that will contribute to Gambia tourism, to people visiting, I'll just get up and do it. I'll not even reach out to them. I'll not even wait for. But I feel like, again, it all goes down to I don't know. I think there's just people that just don't know what they're doing or something like that. But I feel like Gambia should be like a perfect like tourism. It should be doing extremely well in here. Just a little bit of just people just knowing what they're doing. Yeah. So, but it's unfortunate the way it
Yeah,
is. Yeah,
yeah.
it's really unfortunate. The Ministry of Tourism. I'm like the biggest. I mean, I went to Uganda. Uganda's Ministry of Tourism, they reached out to me. They gave me a package and all of that. That is another country, right? My own country, they never reached out to me, to do anything.
Which is
So
sad.
it is what it is, It is
Yeah,
what it
which
is.
is really sad, which is really sad, and I hope that, somebody sends this to them or they watch it. If they're not thinking along those lines, that's how a ministry should think about, like you're splashing all of these $6 million to different media companies to brand yourself and your image, when
Yeah,
perhaps they would save a significant amount of cost to get into some
absolutely.
partnership with you and people that work with you or people that are like you, to make sure to create content, because there is absolutely need for it. Gambia is very strategically located, and there
Exactly.
is so much that tourists could benefit by coming to Gambia, but also for Gambia as well. Now, you develop an interest in telling African stories through your lens and through your voice, Gano edits, right?
Mhm.
And I want you to talk to us about what inspires you to begin to look into the broader African continent and not just Gambia, from beginning from Senegal, then you went to other parts of the West African country, and I think you're going beyond as well. But what inspired that one? But two, how is that experience also like overall?
All right, that's a good question. So for me, really, like I said, I'm very hungry when I'm doing something. Like I also obsess over the things that I do. Like whatever I do, I'm like really. Even when I was working for my father, I was living in the office. I had a room in the office. Like I was living there, right? So whatever I'm doing, I just go all in on it. I pour my heart into it. That's the same thing that I did with my business as well. So when I got into this YouTube, I was very obsessed. I will spend, like, even now, that's why you see my videos, they take like a month. I'm not uploading. It take me like 1 month to upload one to edit one video, right? Because I want everything to be perfect. I want to do the best, you know. So for me, when I was doing these stories, I had this thing that okay, I'm going to kaizen, right? 1% improvement every video, like. So that's a promise I make to myself. That's why every video that if you watch my first video, you watch the second one. The second one is better than the first one. The third one is better than the second one, like that, right? So, but as I was doing this, I was doing. I realized something. I noticed a pattern, right? And when I look at my analytics, I know Gambians are the least people that watch me, right? Even up to date, my YouTube. Maybe that's why I'm, in Gambia, even the government, they don't reach out to me or anything. Because when I look at the analytics, Gambians are the least people that watch me. So I know, okay, these things that I'm doing, maybe Gambians, I am Gambian, but maybe my people, they are not interested in this thing that I'm doing, right? But I mean, the people that are Gambians that are interested in business and the things that I'm doing, I'm sure all of them they are watching me because it's just a no-brainer, right? But also because our country is small, so really, if you want to look at the numbers, it might not be very impressive, right?
Yeah.
So for me, when I looked at those numbers, I realized that okay, there's this thing here. If I really the direction that I want to go, where I want to take my channel, if I want to focus solely on Gambia, I might not get there, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, you know what? This business stories that I'm doing now, let me take it to Senegal. So I went to Senegal for a trip. That did not go too well because obviously they speak French, and
Yeah.
so and then so that one did not go too well. So I was like, okay, let me go to Nigeria. From Senegal, I went to Nigeria. That one went really well. I was like, okay. Now what I'm going to do the whole of West Africa. So I started going down West Africa. I was like, you know what? Now I'm going to do the whole of Africa. Now that's the journey that I'm on. And very soon I said, you know what? I'm going to do the whole world. So that is just yeah, that is just how I'm thinking about these things, right?
And what's
And
the experience been? Yeah.
you will say what?
So, I was saying, and what's the experience been overall?
It's awesome, man. I mean, it's more challenging than I face more setbacks, more challenges than there's been more negatives than positives. But even though I only show like positives, the nice things, but it's been tough. It's really Africa is also not for beginners at all. Yeah,
Yeah.
doing anything here. I thought Gambians were like, but I went to other places. I went to Guinea, for example. I went to Liberia. I faced so many challenges, so many shit. You cannot even film around. I went to other places, they took my stuff, they never gave it back. Yeah, I went to Guinea, they took my drones, never gave it back. They'll extort you of your money. So I mean, I remember I was at a border in Liberia, I even cried there. But all
Wow.
those are things that I don't show. I only show like the positives of the continent, because we're trying to promote Africa here.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, it has been a lot of change. I mean, at some point, I was like, you know what, I'm going to stop doing this, right? I'm going to
Yeah.
stop telling stories about Africa. I'm just going to
Yeah.
find a way to do Europe or something. But I'm like, all the interesting stories really are here, right? So yeah, and then these are stories that are untold. Like for example, in Europe and America, those people, the stories are told. People know about those things already. They've done it long time ago. But here, our stories are not told, right? And even if they are told in a lens that, in a way that does not fit us, right? It's not the way we want our stories to be told, right? So someone has to do it. So I volunteer to be that person, right? With all the challenges and all the things, all
Yeah.
the the lack of support from the government, from the authorities, there's challenges from people. But
Yeah.
still, regardless, we still keep going because if it was easy, everyone will do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
I don't know, you probably know this better than me, but there's also a thing called the power of who narrates the story. An African story for a very long time has been narrated by or been viewed through a very Eurocentric or colonialist view, right? And they write all of these books to narrate our story through a lens that is favorable to them. And this, what you're doing now, I think, is part of a growing need through what Chimamanda Ngozi of Nigeria, the feminist author, called the power of the single story, right? It's part of that Africans owning our narrative, to channel our views through our own experiences, which in a sense is not only to depict the really things that are not going well in our continent or things that are bad, but also the beauty of our beloved continent of Africa, because they're absolutely like part of my goals, and which is one of the reasons why I was really hyped up about talking to you, is because, bro, you're doing my goal. It's not to go there to do what you're doing, but it's to go there to live that experience for a day or two, like to go around the world and to go around the African continent to see these countries. It's not only to read about them, but to go there to see it for myself, right?
Yeah,
I think that's an experience that would change your life forever.
absolutely. It
You
has
know,
changed
not
my
many people, yeah, not many people will have that, bro. And I always say, I think in life, few things will always define who you are: the books that you read, the people that you meet, and the places that you go to. But the places that you go to, I think, has much more impact than anything else, because the perspectives that you get, the experience you get, like all of that, bro, it just can't get better than that. But
but that's
yes, in respect to how much of that bad experience that you endure while you go to these places do you ever intend to bring out? Because I think also, uh, the aspect of authenticity, which you do very well, is important, and sometimes you highlight these things through your voiceovers. You talk about what you experience, because that shit needs to change. I'm sorry for my choice of word. That idea of, like, being almost impossible to travel from one border in the African continent to another by not people not extolling money from you or stealing money from you or forcing you to pay bribes to them or them taking away your items. To what extent do you intend to put that out? Because I think unless we put those things out to Gano, the problem is going to continue.
Yeah, no, me, I really think that it's like it's not gonna be it's not gonna change through us like just talking on the that is not how it's gonna change, because really they all know about these things, everybody knows, right? But then the sad thing is African Union, right? It is funded by who? It's the European Union that is funding African Union. You
True.
know, that just tells you what. So for all these authorities, all this, they all know exactly what is happening there, right? So the biggest voices they've made videos about is this. It is not, for me. I came to this conclusion, right? It is not going to change through this thing that we are doing, right? I don't
Yeah.
know how, what it's going to take, but I think it might take it. Maybe it will take violence, right? People just rebellion, but not just through dialogue. We've been doing that for years. All these meetings, like every day, dialogue. Let's talk. It doesn't change anything, right? It really does not change anything. It's just that, okay, we Gambians, we have to genuinely want that. Okay, you know what? From today, Senegalese, we don't want Senegalese whenever they are getting into Gambia being harassed by our police. We don't want our Senegalese brothers to face any challenges. And the Senegalese also make that same intention that, okay, we don't want Gambians whenever they are coming into our country to face this challenge. Then that problem will solve. But Gambians don't want that, Senegalese don't want that. And then we'll say who are police? They are our own brothers, man. These are our own brothers from our houses, right?
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
this is how we feel towards each other. Inside, deep inside, this is how we feel about each other, right? Guineans, that's how they feel about Gambians. Even though the government on paper or on cameras, they'll say they'll smile and greet each other. But deep down, the average Guinean, that is how they feel about a Gambian. So if you're trying to cross in their country, like Guinea, they showed me hell in that country, man. Trying to
Yeah.
get in there. So, but we cannot. I don't know how we can. I think we just have to just want best for each other. Like we just have to. Okay, this is our brother. This is my African brother. You know. Yeah, I feel like if you do that, then that the whole border issue will just go away. That I feel like that is the bottom line. It's not about talking, because we've done that, right? We've
Yeah.
all, yeah. For me,
Yeah.
really, I think that's how I. Maybe it's because of also because before traveling, I was very optimistic about this thing, But maybe once you travel, you're like, hey, this thing, it's like dead out here. Like
Look,
now,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Travel, it does that to you as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes it makes you an optimist. Sometimes it makes you a pessimist. You're like very,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Talk to me a little bit about the various layers of the current business. We're getting in, a little over half an hour into the show. We're gonna wrap up pretty soon. But talk to us a little bit about the various layers of your business right now. Obviously you have the social media. That was also a part of your business that you said your little brother now handles. And what else are you involved in right now in terms of expansion for the business?
Yeah, so right now, I'm a full-time YouTuber now, right? Right now, this is what I do full-time, right? And I've been trying to get people on board, right? Especially editing, just to set up like a team around it, because right now I'm a one-man team, huh? I'm the
Yeah.
one doing all of this editing, the thumbnails, the work pretty much. I'm the one kind of. I've been trying to get people on board. So for right now, my intention really mainly is because we are also getting into agriculture, our family, like my dad and stuff. So really, that is something that I'm really interested in now, you know. But also, I've seen some, like there's some businesses that I see more like I want to invest in. especially with skills, right? Because I know some of my friends, they have like this work, like welding, they're into carpentry. And even myself, I like working with my hands, even with our business, we make frames and stuff. I used to make these things myself, the frames. And so I love, this is something that I love, right? So as I'm making these things from YouTube, I really do, the strategy that I want to use is like, just take that money, invest into like those guys, like the welding, the carpentry and stuff, like skills, right? Invest into those things, right? But also do partly our agriculture as well, farming, because as I go around here, to buy something like cabbage, I was like, one was like $50 in Gambia, like banana cabbage, small one, $50. And I asked them why. Why is this expensive? They said, oh, it's because it's coming from Morocco. I said, but why are we not growing it here? They said, because the ones that we grow here, it has like Abukami, today yeah, why is that? So like me and my father, because my father is actually going back to school now. He's at the UTG now. He's doing bachelor's again for agriculture, right? Trying to understand right these things. So really, that's pretty much what we're trying to do now. Like really agriculture and see how we can solve some of those problems when it comes to food, right? Here in Gambia.
Yeah. That's really nice. That's really nice. And bro, your dad is going back to school.
Yeah,
That's
he has gone. He man has his blasters and everything, but he's gone back to do like yeah, to do
well,
this
it's
agriculture.
not surprising that you are as hungry for what you do and success, because
Exactly,
clearly you are your dad's son.
exactly. I am my father's son, really,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. So talk to us
Yeah,
a
but
little bit
then
about.
the business of social media, I mean, I just want to share this because I feel like Gambians we are sleeping on this so much, but it's so lucrative. And the thing with this is like, I mean, for me, I'm doing videos and stuff online, but imagine when I was starting, I was just going out, reaching out to these people, doing these videos for them for free. I was not sharing any money. I was like, I don't want even you to pay me. I just want to tell your story. But it got to a point where now people will reach out to me. Oh, bro, we want you to. Now I'll say, okay, wait. I want to know whether I want to tell your story or not. So I'll have to vet you. Okay, you are fit now. Let's tell you. But then you pay, right? So, and then imagine you are at a time where you are making like 10, 20 grand a month to like able to make 100 over 100K. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Easy,
That
yeah.
is the power of the media, man. And then with YouTube is now that you have an audience where it's like you're not only Gambia, like you can be Gambian, be in Gambia, but then you have a business that you're serving United States, United Kingdom, and you're making money from all those places, right? That's the power of the media. And then but then here it's so because people are not paying attention to these things, even to have like an editor. I've been struggling with that for forever, right? So it's like I don't know why people still think they'd rather just go and work in the offices or something. Like these are things that will make you serious money, man. Like just being in the media spaces, right? Being a video editor, right? This and if you're good here, like you will just stand out because there's an actual need for these things, right? We have so many accountants, we have so many lawyers,
Yeah, bro.
but we don't have motion graphics guys, we don't have video editors, right? We don't have thumbnail designers, right? And this, right now, our economy, everything is going
Yeah.
digital, right? So yeah, I mean, we just our guys need to shift more to look into that as well,
Yeah,
because
bro, I
I mean,
totally agree with you. Just earlier today, I was talking to one of the dudes who is also into graphic design, because when I started this, like, I know very little about graphic designing or stuff. I just wanted to talk to people that inspires me. That's all I want to do. So when I started it, it's like, no, bro, like, I'll do your graphics for you. I got you, whatever. He was like, yeah, you don't remember me, but we worked together in high school in Nusrat Pia Health, and then we got into it, and I discovered his interests and skills. And he really, like, he just opened my eyes to a lot of other things that I don't see. And what I said to him is like, dude, I don't care about all of this. Let's formalize it. He said, this is exactly what I need. I said, I just hope more Gambians are involved in that. And it just dawned on me just how significant difference that makes, because it's hard for you to be doing all of these things by yourself. Like, you make the content, you edit the content, you have other responsibilities to think about too. But even here in the United States, bro, like, there is so many people that don't go to college. All they do is social media, right? Education is important, like formal education is important, but we live in a country where everybody wants to go to law school, everybody wants to go to school of journalism, everybody wants to sit in the office and wears a tie and get $30,000 a month. What is that gonna do for you in Gambia? Not to take anything away from you, like, education is important. Like, this is coming from somebody who has degrees and is still going to school, right? Don't get me wrong, but there are other areas that would incentivize you to give you enough money to not depend on government for a job, right? You can literally empower yourself, create employment for yourself and other people around you. And social media is one aspect that I feel like learning from your story and those stories around you that Gambians need to venture into, because also like, bro, it's people say it's easy. It's not easy, but also like considering the investment you are going to do for yourself to go to school. What law school is like, what 40,000 or 50,000. So if you multiply that every year for 4 years, how much are you paying? You know what I'm saying? You go to a boot camp with Gano, for example, you pay 10,000 or 15,000, and then you come out with all of these skills, right? And then you're qualified, you could employ yourself and start making money out of it. Obviously, it's a process.
Yeah, and now it's just that our generation also we want things to happen now. We are all guilty of that, especially me. We want things when we start something today, we want it to do well, we want it to take off. But then for me with YouTube now, I've learned this thing where I'm like, I just whatever video I'm creating, I just make sure it is the best because I'm creating evergreen content. I'm creating content that 100 years it will still be useful, right? That is the lens that I'm creating through. I'm not creating for fat like trends or fat something that 2 weeks it's gone. No, I don't create those types of videos, right? Any video that it'll 1 month and people will forget about it. I want to create videos that okay, 10 years down the line, my kids, their generation, they'll sit down and say, wow, and still find it useful, right? So when you're creating a videos like that, especially on a platform like YouTube, just make sure it's really good. It's
Quality.
like 10 out of 10, right? Initially, maybe it might not do a lot of views. It might not do, you'll spend a lot of money and time in it and you'll not see it. But then I just had this experience recently. One of my videos, I did a video about Liberia like a year ago. And then the video initially, it got like 40 something thousand views for over a year. It was just stuck there. Recently, now it's the best performing video on my YouTube. And then it has gotten me a lot of subscribers recently, right? It has got like over 200,000 views right now, right? And then for over a year, it was stuck at 40,000. And boom, now all of a sudden it's getting me subscribers, it's getting me money, because it's
Yeah.
good content, right? That's the thing with YouTube, you might be uploading like this thing, right? You might be uploading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All the content they are not doing well. But you'll get to 46 content, it will make all the difference, right? All the 1, 2, 3, it will make it all worth it, right? So that's the thing. That's why you just have to do it with this social media and all this space. Just do it with a
Yeah.
long term
Yeah.
mindset.
And to also attack it with a business mindset, I think that's also the problem too. A lot of people are
Exactly. Looking at that lens of business as well.
as an entrepreneur, because governments need to venture a lot more into that. This idea of government creating jobs, it's not sustainable, especially in Africa. Government is not in the business of creating jobs. They're not that smart. Folks that work in that government care about a lot of other things than helping empower youth. Hell, they're siphoning youth.
They're trying to empower
Dude,
themselves, man.
they're sending youths to go in as and work in farms in Spain and all these places. I'm like, you people are just sitting there. You're wasting your time. Shit is not gonna happen, you know. But just get into the final few bits. So, what's obviously growing the business and full time YouTube? Uh, you, are you still committed to bringing at least few other people to sort of take the load away from you a little bit in terms of editing?
Yeah. Right now, that is the mission. Like that is the thing that I want to achieve right now. To like delegate, right? Delegate and also train, right? Because I know what I'm doing now. Because for me, what I've been showing, I want someone perfect. After I realized I cannot get that, right? I have to bring in someone who's like mildly good and then teach them, train them, and then bring them on board, right? And obviously, the way the channel is growing, I mean, where I intended to go, really, I believe it's going to bring a lot of people in. A lot of people are going to benefit from it, right? The scale that I want to go, I mean, it's not sustainable for me to do it alone, right? So yeah, there will be content strategists, there will be community managers, there will be editors, right? Yeah, and right now I'm even thinking about. I think I'll be going back to Nigeria again because I've been here for a while trying to get that, but it's like really not. I mean, I've worked with a couple of guys and it's looking good now here, but I'll see how that goes. If not, then I think I'll really go back to Nigeria and really try to set up a team, and then yeah, because right now I mean I'm Gambian, but now I see myself as an African, right? So anywhere, any country that I can go and just do my thing there, I'll do
Yeah.
it, right? I'm not, yeah. Now I'm like that's how I see the thing. Like I'm African. So any country, Nigeria is my country, Sierra Leone is my country. I can just,
Yeah.
yeah.
And Gano, and I'm gonna say this right now and tell me if you're not comfortable to talk about it. But you are by all definition a Pan African now. The way you're going around the continent, the way you speaking, I mean, voicing out African stories, And I was just wondering whether it has ever occurred to you to apply for a diplomatic passport with the Gambia government just to ease your movement for you around the African continent. Because I'm telling you, bro, what you're doing is not just for you. Yes, it incentivizes you, it pays you, it gives you a recognition, but it's also a representative. Nobody will ever take away from you the fact that you're Gambian. And I think that's important. So, has it ever dawned on you at all to apply for a diplomatic passport? Because before we're giving it to all of these politicians that we're rewarding them for, that don't even deserve it, you are a business person. That a diplomatic passport would make some difference for you in the line of work that you do.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That is something I actually recently, very recently, I've been thinking about. I've been having conversations with someone about that. And then, yeah, we are trying to see, because they're even, someone was telling me, they're giving diplomatic passports to people that are not doing anything for the country, that are not doing. So they said, Gano, you actually deserve it. So, I mean, we are in that talk. We'll see how that one goes. I mean, I've not reached out to them, like the Ministry of Foreign
Yeah.
Affairs or whatever. Then I've actually been having conversation with some people about that. I'm trying to see what's the best way to get that. I feel like that will also make a lot of sense. Especially traveling around. Yeah,
Oh, you should. But
yeah, that
I
will
mean,
make a lot
the
of sense.
also the Minister of Youth and Sports is a very reasonable guy. He's always in for the youths. Bakari Baji, I think you should absolutely
Mhm.
tap on that opportunity because there is no, I mean, I don't know the conditions under which you have to satisfy to get it, but you absolutely deserve it. I mean, ST gets a diplomatic passport. I mean, he's also a businessman, and obviously there's lots of nuances that go into it, but nobody should deny you from that opportunity. I think if there is a chance for it, you should absolutely explore that. And also,
Yeah.
of course, be more intentional with the government in terms of what they can. If they're not coming to you, go to them, because at the end of the day, that's what being government is about. The government is for the people. The government are employers. There's a way of doing everything, but also like we have a society where people are not very pragmatic in terms of ideas. And sometimes what it takes is for you to take that step, to initiate it and also have all parties win at the end of the day. But to wrap this up,
Yeah.
really, second to last question, Gano. What is next for Gano?
What is next for
Yes.
Ghana? Well, for me right now, really, like I said, man, just travel as much as I can, and then grow this thing into an actual brand, like an actual company. The Ghana did it. It's not just got our YouTube. It's like now going to be like a whole media brand where there's people behind it, and then yeah, because again, there's this need for businesses, which I'm interested in, right? There's this need for businesses to be on the spotlight, to be on the media, to be now. I can call myself an expert in this thing, right? Where I know how to position your business for certain terms of the media, right? And then also be like also to the travel space, right? Because one of the things that I'm also like looking into is because I've been traveling around the whole continent and stuff. And I know the people that watch me mainly, these are Africans in the diaspora, right? Some of them, they even want to travel the continent, but they have the money, but they don't know how, or they are scared to explore certain places, right? And me, the way I travel, I just go everywhere, right? So I cannot know have the hands-on knowledge. I know these places, right? So I'm looking into way be like a virtual or be like a travel guy, right? Where I can just take people around Africa as I'm going around. So yeah, those are all in the plans. Yeah, those are all in the plans.
Now, finally, before I get into my final question, I don't know if you remember, but you also made a content for this Senegalese, I mean, tailor or designer that I did a
Yeah,
runway
model.
for. I mean, in his outfit here in the United States. That was really interesting. Somebody sent that to me. I was like, yo, Gano, the video that he did for this business guy, you're actually on it. I used to do runway modeling here in the United States some years ago. And that was really cool. I was like,
Wow.
it's crazy just how everything is interconnected because I met a designer here who was like, oh, I have this outfit I want you to model me on, but usually you don't know where the outfits come from. And so when you put that out, I was like, what are the chances that Gano from Gambia, Ibrahim, that me in the United States, I'm gonna, rock an outfit and Gano is gonna make a content about it later. And so a couple of people sent it to me. So I thought that was pretty nice. And that was our first introduction to
Yeah,
you and I think it was sometime last year.
yeah, 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 definitely. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember.
But finally, Gano, what is your call for hope, especially in terms of the young generation that are looking at you and are really interested in doing what you're doing right now, and knowing fully well the challenges that would be laid bare for them because they are absolutely gonna be there for them. But what is your advice to a lot of Gambians who are looking at you, or a lot of Africans who are looking at you and want to get into this area, but they're hopeless, or either they don't have an idea of what to do, or whether they just don't know where to start? What is your advice? What is your call for hope for those people, but also generally for the African continent in terms of our stories, in terms of taking ownership of our stories, in terms of narrating, and just changing generally the perception of people around the world, what they see or feel about our continent?
Well, that's a great question, but I'll start off with saying like just generally just tap in an area of your interest first, right? I feel like that is where it starts. That's like the foundation, right? Something that you're interested. Because for me, I think I'm just telling 1% of our stories. Right? I'm not even touching like the surface yet, because there's so many things, even the fabrics, like even the things that we wear, right? How when like why we do what we do, like all these are stories, right? And these are things that especially the diaspora, because maybe if you are here like as a Gambian, you are not interested, they are telling these stories like but then once you start here, you look at your analytics. Like me, that's what happened. I look at I also the people that were watching, I'm like, oh, so these people actually find these things really interesting, things that even people back home, they're like, they don't care. But so you already know there's a market. There's people that are interested in that, right? But first, it has to be something that you're interested in, right? Because if you're not interested in something, you're doing it just because someone is doing it, or it could work. You will face challenges, obviously. You will face challenges, countless even. But the first, second, third challenge that you face, you'll just run, you'll just give it up because it's not something that you're interested
Mhm.
in. But if it's something that you're genuinely interested in, no matter the challenges come, you still keep going because this is something that you're interested in, right? So for me, that would be the start. If you find yourself that okay, you're interested in fashion or fitness, right? Yeah, there's a way you can sort of put it in. Okay, the genetics, right? Okay, the Maninka people, the Jola people, they have this certain
Yeah.
genetics. How you find that, you go to research, go to Nyomi, go to
Yep.
Foni. Like, you
Mhm.
understand? Like, there's so much you can do, man. And then these are things that actually, the way you do it, you'll be surprised that people don't come from all over just to try to do research on these
Mhm.
things, right? And then people will tell you, oh, I found this because of you. And then you are contributing to the world, not just to the economy. Whatever. You're actually adding value to the world, right? Just by telling our stories. I mean, Africa, this is the beginning of everything. Like here, Africa, like I said, is so dope, man. We have so many stories. Like, it's so interesting how the things that we have, and then how we don't even know the value of this, and we don't even see it. We're like, it's
Yeah.
important. But then there's so much to say, man. There's so much to do. But then the foundation is always like, let it be something that in your area of interest, and then you just tap into that, right? And then also just keep doing it. Just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like, just repeat, and just lock in. Like we said, lock in
Yeah.
and just
Stay
keep
locked
doing,
in.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Gano, I really enjoy talking to you. Thank you so very much for your time and availability. And I can't wait to see more of the videos, more of the stories. And obviously, we love keeping track of what you're doing. And I can tell you for certain that a lot of people here in Washington that I know, a lot of Gambians that I know, really love what you're doing and love to support what you're doing. So I encourage Gambians. Gambians would always say, "Oh, Gambians doing their support and they become your supporters." It's just our numbers are not a lot, but I think we support each other, man. I think we
We
that.
do actually.
I
We
think
do. We do.
Gambians, even me with this little, this thing that I'm doing, like every day I'm getting somebody reaching out to tell me, hey, like we watch what you're doing, we appreciate what I'm doing. Those little things for me is what keeps me going. But it's also like internally,
Yeah.
it satisfies me to know that at the end of the day, even if it is one person that is following what I'm doing, that's enough for me. So we really appreciate. I can speak for myself, but I can also speak for a lot of Gambians when I say, we really appreciate what you're doing. We also appreciate your prominence, and I hope that you continue to accomplish all the things that you set out for yourself. But really, I enjoyed talking to you. Thank you so very much.
Likewise, brother. It was a
Thank
pleasure,
you.
man.
Have a wonderful rest.